Jalen Brunson is breaking the NBA by Michael Zimba.
When Jalen Brunson first signed with the Knicks after the 2022 season,
I thought that was Nia Long, boy. Hold on. I was about to say, hold on. Hold on.
When Jalen Brunson first signed with the Knicks after the 2022 season, fans attacked him. Mavs dodged a bullet. Worse contract than Beal, and inflation is real when Wall.
It's so insane to me. Mavs had both Luka and Brunson and just let both of them walk, essentially. Now, Luka was traded, so he didn't technically walk, but, basically the same shit. Anyway, so as a Mavs fan, or a previous Mavs fan, because I stopped watching basketball a little minute ago, and I'm just now starting to get back into basketball and stuff. But that Luka trade made me want to just say, you know what? Look, I'm done. Mavs fan for life until y'all do some stupid shit. Like that Luka trade was just abysmal, man. And right now, I'm jokingly saying that I'm not a Mavs fan any longer, but I don't know if I even want to be one. I don't know. I might just watch these games and just not even have a team, bro, and just root for whoever. But man, that Mavs, that Luka trade hurt my soul. Anyway, it's crazy that we had both Brunson and Luka, and then now we just, Sam Cooper, or I said Sam Cooper, Lord. Cooper Flag is good, but it's just right now, Luka and Brunson are both a bit more proven than Cooper. Not saying that Cooper hasn't been proving himself. It's just, they're a bit more established right now. But it's so crazy. We had them both, and we just...
Smart Fred VanVleet is getting a bigger bag than Fred VanVleet. Only Walmart Fred VanVleet not
Walmart
only has
Fred
the Knicks
insane.
now up 2-0
They call that boy Walmart
finals,
Fred.
but since the 2023 season, it has been Jalen Brunson who has scored the most clutch points in the NBA playoffs by a wide margin. Even crazier, going back to the 1997 playoffs, Brunson has a higher scoring frequency in the clutch compared to Kobe Bryant, LeBron,
over Jordan? Hold on. Over Mike. If he could be like Mike. He took the more seriously. Jalen Brunson, goal level playoff clutch scoring. Players with at least 50 clutch field goal attempts in the postseason since 1997 are plotted. Total clutch field goals attempted 50, 100, 200. Anyway, points from the field per 36 minutes. Effective, bro. The fact that he's over Jordan, and really just he's over pretty much any other, just all-star or legend or whoever, is insane. And it's also crazy how much Jordan is just being out of everybody. Like himself, Donovan Mitchell, the fuck is he doing up here? No, I'm playing. Brunson is above. That's insane, man.
James, Steph Curry, you name it, no one but Michael Jordan has scored better when the game is on the line on the biggest stage. And when Jimmy Butler shocked everyone with his ability to rise in the playoffs, he was nicknamed Playoff Jimmy. But due to his size and lack of elite athleticism, the entire world keeps doubting Jalen Brunson no matter how much proof he gives us. Only Jalen is now on the verge of true greatness, and everyone keeps forgetting the most important thing about him. Because let me ask you a question. How would you feel if you scored 61 points in an NBA game? After Jalen Brunson scored 61 points against the Spurs in the 2024 season, he watched as Victor Wembanyama launched his game ball into the stands. Jalen walked off the court in rage. Not because Victor threw away his ball, but because New York had lost. Winning is what matters to Jalen Brunson, and fast forward to now, we know the Knicks are making history as they are getting their revenge. Only Jalen Brunson is not just beating the Spurs in far more meaningful games, he has also led the entire NBA in playoff scoring in the last 3 years among players who have played at least 10 playoff games. Add in the fact that he's been named second team All-NBA for the last 3 seasons, and by all accounts, Jalen Brunson has established himself as one of the NBA's clear stars, a no doubt top 10 player. But still, we hear people like Becky Hammon say the following.
If your best player is small, you're not winning.
To insane.
John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash. You could go down the list.
Recently, when asked about this statement, Becky Hammon
You could go
doubled
down the
down on
list,
it,
is
saying,
crazy.
"I said what I said. If he proves me wrong,
I mean,
he
size
proves
matters, in this league, but at the same time, it isn't the end all be all. You have very talented people who are on like the shorter side. For instance, Curry, he's like what 6'2". He's not exactly tall for the NBA, but he's still very successful. Size does play a large enough factor. Well, a large enough, I guess, variable to factor into the NBA and success in it. But really, bro, if you're good and you have a team that's also good as well, then I mean, bro, it's really about how the team plays. Really, it's a team based game. Yes, you do have all stars, you do have superstars, and people who are maybe leagues above their teammates. But at the end of the day, bro, you could be solo dolo. You're not winning. You need a good team around you. Iverson, I mean, mainly, bro, he was the Sixers star player, but he never really had a good team around him, really, per se.
me wrong, which for Jalen Brunson is actually perfect. Because the most important thing about him and the secret to his basketball success is his unique underdog mindset. No matter what, even at his current level, even with his current success, Jalen Brunson refuses to see himself as anything but a player who is defying the odds. Recently, when interviewed, Brunson was quoted twice saying, "I am not a star," in an article with The Athletic. He is not a player who has been overlooked and wants you to start treating him better. He is an actual star who wants you to keep doubting him. I say this because when we look at Jalen Brunson's NBA career as a whole, we find that a very obvious pattern emerges. Jalen is doubted early. He outperforms all of these doubts and everyone's expectations, but is still doubted. And then he ultimately proves everyone wrong and wins at the highest level he can. Before Jalen joined the Knicks in the 2022 offseason, the team had not made the second round of the playoffs since 2013, even though they did have Carmelo Anthony. They also had not made it to the conference finals since the year 2000. So Brunson leading the Knicks to the finals alone is already impressive.
I knew it was a long time, but dang. Since bruh.
But winning regular season games is one thing. We all know the playoffs are what matters. And in his playoff career, Jalen Brunson is the type of clutch star we all love. As the lights get brighter, Brunson scores at a tremendously higher rate. In his playoff career with the Knicks, Jalen averages 0.625 points per minute in the first quarter, 0.898 points per minute in the fourth, and 1.473 points per minute in the clutch. We saw this in game 1 of the finals where Jalen was quiet early. Then he knocked down a huge three and a huge mid-range jumper to cement a Knicks win. Going even further here, each of the last 5 seasons, Jalen has been a playoff raiser, averaging more points per game in the playoffs than in the regular season. Yes, he doesn't have the size. Yes, he does not have the athleticism, but his footwork is impeccable. His skill set is amazing. When you are not blessed with a 6'8" body, a 7-foot wingspan, or a 40-inch vertical, there is absolutely no margin for error when you're playing against the best of the best. On a nightly basis, Jalen Brunson is at the top of everyone's scouting report. But as they've said, everyone is better than Jalen Brunson until it's time to be better than Jalen Brunson. And playing for the New York Knicks, Jalen can do a lot more than just quiet people's doubts or get revenge. He can achieve literal basketball immortality. It has been said for a long time that the next person who brings the Knicks a championship will be remembered as a true legend forever. The city of New York is starving for a basketball championship. The Knicks have not won a title since 1973. Over 50 years ago. Brunson has already taken them from a laughingstock to one of the best teams in the league.
Great.
But even if we take the Knicks out of the equation, if you lead any team to an NBA championship as the best player, you are essentially untouchable. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Steve Nash, these are all MVPs who failed to get a ring, and because they did not get one, they are now players whose games are picked apart because they are not considered winners. Jalen is doing what many people thought was impossible headed into this season and even headed into the playoffs, but here's what's strange about Jalen Brunson's career. With everything we know about him, you might think that in high school, Jalen was an underrated recruit who was overlooked and then proved everyone wrong. Only, Jalen was a star. As the son of a former NBA player, all eyes were on Jalen early in his high school career, and by the end of his senior season, he was the 16th recruit in the nation. He won 2 gold medals for Team USA on the U18 and U19 championship squads. And then at Villanova, he won 2 national championships and was the 2018 College Basketball Player of the Year. At every point of his life up until then, he was a star. And he did everything he could to be a lottery pick only. This is where his pro story began to play out. The pattern of get doubted, prove everyone wrong, and then repeat. In the 2018 draft, Jalen Brunson not only slipped to the second round at pick number 33, he was also drafted behind 3 players on his own Villanova team that he had just been the star on, in Mikal Bridges, Dante DiVincenzo, and Amari Spellman. But as it turns out, falling in the draft and starting this pattern was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to him. Jalen had seen his own dad struggle to stay on a single team in the NBA. He didn't grow up as an entitled NBA kid. He instead grew up knowing just how hard it was to succeed at the highest level. And so, Jalen used this draft disrespect to his advantage. He would later say, "I used that second round name," as he began to approach the NBA game not as a star like he had been, but as an underdog with a tremendous chip on his shoulder, which meant now he was developing as a player who one day would have the skill set to be the best player on the court, but who also treated basketball like nothing was owed to him, like he had to earn everything. This mindset has launched him to stardom with the Knicks, but what's truly wild is that the Mavericks should still have Jalen on their team. After Dallas hit the lottery drafting a future second-team All-NBA player in the second round, they not only fumbled Jalen, they made a truly unforgivable mistake. In his rookie season, even as a second-round pick, Jalen started 38 games and was clearly
the Mavs management has to be just dismantled, torn apart, broken apart, bro. Just removed because they just mishandled so much stuff. They traded for AD. AD is about to leave, something like that. Or it's like you traded your best. You traded not only your best player but your franchise player for a player who's for reasons that you believe that player is unhealthy and or alleged reasons that said player is unhealthy and this and that, for a player who is notoriously has even worse health than your current franchise player, bro. It just doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't. But that management, man, oh my God.
Mavs young core. But it wasn't until year 4 that all-star potential began to show. And when it did, Dallas now seemingly had 2 players they could rely on for the next decade. Because Jalen was taken in the same draft as Luka Doncic. Except here was the mistake Dallas made. Listen to what Jalen has to say about his contract situation.
I really did want to stay in Dallas. I think before the season, we tried to extend. The most we can get was like 4 years and $55 million. Obviously, we wanted to do that. I wanted to stay there. I thought I would be there for a long time.
Yes, Jalen and his agent came to the Mavs and were willing to sign a 4-year, $55 million contract to lock him in with Dallas and with Luka. The Mavs, who had been watching Jalen's work ethic, who had been watching him play every single game, told him no. Shockingly, the pattern was playing out with his own team. Jalen had been doubted by scouts before the draft. He was proving everyone wrong, but now his own team was doubting him in his 4th season. So what did he do? Well, in the regular season, he already made re-signing him look like a mistake. Jalen went out and averaged 16.5 points per game and looked like a player on the rise. But it was in the playoffs, in the first round against Utah, where things got crazy. Luka was forced to miss the first 3 games of the series, only in game 2, with nobody picking the Mavs to win as their star sat out. Jalen Brunson went onto the court and scored 41 points to lead the Mavs to a win. Then in game 3, with Luka still sitting, Jalen went and scored 31 in another Mavs win. And finally, in game 6, with the score tied at 94-94 late, Jalen rose up and connected on what would become the series-winning basket. And against Utah in total, Jalen Brunson averaged 27.8 points per game to Donovan Mitchell's 25.5. Mitchell in the 2022 playoffs was already an established.
I don't know how you
all-star.
see all of this and just say, we good on you. We don't need you. I just truly, I do not understand the mindset behind these choices.
Only outplayed him, he
Mavs
continued
have
on.
had
Against the
previously.
Suns in round 2, he scored over 20 points
Currently, I
3
guess.
times as the Mavs reached the Western Conference Finals. And there, they did lose to the Warriors, who went on to win the championship. But Jalen had officially proved the Mavericks wrong. They could have got him for $55 million. They shouldn't have doubted him. Only, they did have a chance to correct their mistake. They could still re-sign him with Mark Cuban saying,
And I remember seeing something on Twitter after the game, and it was like Mark saying, hey, like we can pay him the most money.
We can pay him more than anybody, you know, and I think he wants to stay, and that's most important.
But the Mavericks did not pay him. Instead,
Which is
they allowed him to
foolish.
sign with the New York Knicks, adding more doubt to his underdog brain. And the media made things even worse. They poured fuel onto that same fire, with Zach Lowe putting everyone's thoughts into words by saying,
I get that they gave up a lot of second-round picks.
This fade is crazy. This fade is horrendous. Nothing, boy. Oh my god.
To open up cap space. It does seem like a
That
little
fade
much
is
for Jalen Brunson, who
one of
might
a
be
kind, man.
the 15th,
You need
16th,
to,
17th best
NBA.
starting point guard in the NBA. But look, the Knicks have needed a point guard for so long.
So what did Jalen do? In the 2022
Crazy.
season, he had averaged 16.3 points per game. In 2023, he averaged 24. The year after that, he finished 5th in the MVP voting after averaging nearly 29.
Man.
The story was the same with the Knicks as it had been in Dallas. He was doubted, the underdog mindset emerged, he proved to be better than anyone thought. And now, that same story is playing out at the largest scale it could. Jalen is on the cusp of achieving the ultimate goal, basketball immortality, by leading the Knicks to a championship against a basketball
That would be
alien
insane,
who has
too.
all of the physical tools that Jalen Brunson himself does not. Will he do it again? Well, at this point, we've seen this story play out time and time again.
Yeah.
And every time it does, Jalen Brunson goes out and wins. So there we have it. Thank you
So
for
far,
watching
he
today's
is-
video. If you did, I really think
And so far the Knicks are up 2-0 against the Spurs in the finals right now. And also, look, man, I'm just proud of Brunson, man. You know, just being overlooked and overshadowed and stuff is just not even overshadowed, but just being overlooked for so long, bro. And to have to constantly prove people wrong and people just still overlook you, that has to be just annoying as hell. But I'm proud of him, man. I hope he wins it, but I kind of want to see I don't know, bro. I kind of want to see the Knicks lose because I want to see what the Knicks fans are going to do. But besides that, bro, yeah, I do hope he wins it, you know.